After 10 years of being the character, January 28th marked the day that Roger Craig Smith would no longer be doing the voice and role of Sonic the Hedgehog. In America, that is, he was the longest running voice for Sonic, a decade. That's pretty impressive. Sonic himself has had a handful of different voice actors, and that's what this video is going to be about, of course. Sonic's first voice would come through two animated cartoons, being The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and then Sonic Sat AM. Two different shows, though Sonic had the same voice, that being done by Jaleel White, and I appreciate my friend Sky for referring to the voice actor as Steve Urkel, because yes, Sonic's first voice was done by Family Matters Steve Urkel. In terms of being a voice, it's pretty fine. Even though The Adventures of and Sat AM had vastly different tones, one being a Looney Tunes type style, and where we get this glorious voice clip from.
Snooping as usual, I see.
The other being a more serious, slightly plot-centric story. Sonic is pretty much the same in both of the shows. He's got that quick wit and rather pretentious attitude. He took being the fastest thing alive to heart, so that carried out into his character a bit. And Jaleel makes it work.
I deliberately wanted to make him, because I'm black, if you haven't noticed. I really wanted to make him just like, of no race. So when you listen to Sonic, I don't think you even get an impression that, it was like, is he black? Is he white? Is he surfer? Is he whatever? No, instead he's just hero, just fast.
Sorry, boat brains, got a juice. Oh, forgot to tell you, watch that first step.
Jumping a few years ahead, where Jaleel is still the main voice, Sonic Underground was also a thing, with Sonic having his siblings be a one-off concept in this as well. The show is basically a mix of Sat AM with Class of 3000. Wait, did I really just write that? What? Anyways, Jaleel may do the voice of all three of the triplets in this, but of course they all had different singing voices. For Sonic specifically, you want to know who did his singing voice? Sam Vincent. So, Double D from Edd, Edd n Eddy. That fact has lived rent-free in my mind for who knows how long, but I finally got to present to the world, so it feels so good.
Triplets born, the throne awaits. A seer warns of a deadly fate. Give up your children, separate. Bide your time, lie in wait. Sonic Underground, Sonic Underground. They made a vow their mother will be found.
And between all of this, Sonic had another voice to him actually. That being from the OVA in 1996. Voiced by Martin Björk. I kind of want to do an individual video on the OVA itself, but I'll let people decide that in the comments or whatever. Sonic's voice is also fine in here, nothing to really complain about. The movie itself has a handful of fun moments and quotes that are notorious for Sonic fans, so I guess we can see that as a win.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you, since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
Now for the main three that everyone's familiar with. The first one being Ryan Drummond, and I'll know that you're over the age of 25 if you say that he's your Sonic. First debuted as the Blue Blur and the Adventure games, the era that would still continue with his name while it was going into Sonic Heroes and Sonic Shuffle. Okay, mostly Heroes. Ryan Drummond certainly does hit that fast, let's get this done now, bold, fun personality. Disregarding the awkward voice direction of the first adventure game, that's really nothing against Mr. Drummond himself, it's just odd translation. He even had to point that out himself.
And they had Sonic climbs a ladder, and so of course, you'd make ladder noises, so I was like, And then the Japanese cast was like, no. Hi-ya-oo, hi-ya-oo, hi-ya-oo. And then luckily the voice director was like, we don't sound like that in America. We don't say hi-ya-oo. We just go, just, sounds of exertion.
Already by Adventure 2, he wasn't too bad, especially when interacting with Shadow or any other characters, or when he's put in a serious situation. It's good to see that sort of stuff. There's honestly not too much to go off of in Heroes, though, in terms of actual characters where he's talking or interacting with in comparison to the adventure games. So Ryan Drummond does a pretty cool job.
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see, but I can't let you live. Your adventuring days are coming to an end.
Next is probably the most well-known Sonic alongside Roger Craig Smith, that being Jason Griffith. I know I constantly say that every topic there is within the Sonic fandom, it's usually split down the middle, or there's many vocal opinions on particular subjects, and the fact that I'm going to be using this coined term is already evident of that. I know I don't clearly speak for every Sonic fan, but I know I at least speak for a good portion and say that Jason Griffith is my Sonic. It's honestly the ideal voice that I think of when it comes to the character. And also my first official Sonic game was Sonic Riders, where he was pretty much new as the role. And back when I was curiously searching the internet in my youth, which led to some good and bad things, when it came to Sonic, everything was from Jason's voice mostly. From the Flash games, sprite animations, fan-created animations, and of course, most of the games. And before anyone brings up Sonic X, yes, I'm aware that's where Jason technically got his start as the Radical Speedster, but the less we talk about Sonic X, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Now, I can be honest and say that Jason Griffith wasn't the absolute best as Sonic at first. It definitely took some time for him to really grow into the role, but by Secret Rings, and especially by Unleashed and Black Knight, that is peak performance for Sonic's voice. It's good, it's clean, has the attitude, but not too much of it, and even has moments of vocal range and a little bit of emotion sometimes.
I'm sorry. Really, look, go easy on me. I'll turn over a new leaf, I swear. Just give me a chance.
Well, this is new. Showing remorse, Eggman? If you played nice, I wouldn't have to break all your toys.
Gotcha.
Say whatever you want about the Werehog, but you gotta give it to Jason. Dude had to have poked a small hole in his lung while screaming. It's quite something, and I'll even go the extra mile and say that he's my Shadow and Jet. I know Jet really has only had one other person voice him, but that was after, and I know no one's really gonna disagree. With Shadow, it sounds cool and mysterious. I could never really take David Humphries seriously as Shadow. He's good, but I just like Jason more. Now, don't let me saying stuff like, he's my blank deter you and your opinion in any shape. When Sonic fans say that, it's just a different way of saying, in my personal opinion, I think blah blah blah. That's all. Anyways, yes, Jason Griffith is great as Sonic, he's the perfect role, and I hope he finds another breakthrough within the future. And the last main voice of Sonic was done by Roger Craig Smith. With being completely honest, he's very fine as Sonic. He was good with the role with the time that he had, and I was there when it came to the transition of Roger taking over as Sonic, when Colors was announced. That was quite the wait and shock to fully experience Sonic getting a new voice. Though his time as the character gets tricky to really pinpoint. And what I mean is that, in comparison to Jason and even Ryan, Sonic's character has relatively stayed the same throughout every medium at the time. During Roger's time, Sonic's character has declined a bit, if we're being truthful. Though that's the thing, it's not really Roger's fault, he can just do the best with what he's given. And unfortunately, through the games, he's not given enough or good enough material to really push Sonic as the character. And again, that's just from the game's story and the games themselves, and from the Boom universe as well, which is pretty much a different take on the character as well. However, I said through the games, Sonic Boom's cartoon is where Roger shines the most and best as the character. If there's anything he has, it's humor.
Coming in for a hard landing, Tails. You got me covered?
Roger.
Who's Roger? He's talking to me. Thanks, buddy. When you live here, it makes me feel angry. Because you're a horrible roommate and nobody in this house likes you.
Just give it a sec. Needs to warm up.
Still waiting on that trick.
Boom is just a weird take on all of the characters, and honestly feels like they're a slight parody of what people know them for. There is a plethora of out-of-context or just funny moments from Boom's show alone. Do you know how many compilations there are? There's a lot. To put into perspective how widespread Boom is, my friend, who knows really next to nothing about the franchise, sent me a Sonic Boom clip. Granted, I don't know if that was in the mindset of sending it to me because it's me, or because it was funny. The fact that she did it in the first place tells me something, at least. Sonic Boom, the cartoon, is pretty funny, if I'm being honest, and Sonic is also great in this. I really can't tell you a moment where, during Unleash, Black Knight, Riders, where Sonic had really made me laugh. In terms of a joke, I can't think of anything from what Jason has said as Sonic to be funny, not counting any out-of-context moments, of course. Boom, on the other hand, has an entire library. Roger definitely fits that sassy, comedic side of Sonic. It feels like the 90s version of it brought to modern times, and it's really good. Now, I'm not going to try and lie or put on a face in front and say that I'm bawling my eyes out that Mr. Smith will no longer be doing the character. I think it was one of those things that was going to be happening eventually, but hey, he can at least ride with having the record of being Sonic at the longest. And it would literally take more than a decade to take that record from him. I also hope that Roger Craig Smith finds another big break with being a voice actor. People can really love him for who he is. Though for right now, I know he's getting a bit of recognition for being Mirage from Apex Legends or whatever. Yeah, so he's having fun over there, I guess. Oh, and I guess I might as well touch upon it as well. The movie Sonic, Ben Schwartz was good and fine as well. The movie itself is completely fine with what it does. There's really nothing to complain about. Unless we want to get nitpicky, but I'm not in the mood for that, and there's no need for it to begin with. And I could also go into the possibility of who could be the next voice for Sonic. I mean, they could go down the route of still casting Ben constantly for future projects, like with the sequel, to kind of keep it consistent. In terms of the games, though, who really knows? Someone we may or may not know will get the role in the future, and hopefully we can look forward to that soon. And I hope whoever that voice actor is at least puts their own spin dash on it, a rather distinct Sonic that's not obviously trying to be or do what the previous voices did. At least they all sounded different. They all fit the character in different ways, but they were different. And I hope that person can pull that off. So, yeah, I don't know if they're even somehow watching this video. That's, like, the biggest doubt that there possibly could be, but hey, who knows? Whatever, right? But, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the voices of Sonic. Maybe I'll do, like, another, like, version of this for, like, other characters or something like that. But, I mean, there's kind of already a big, really good video about that for Radical Soda. I mean, that's kind of where I get the inspiration for this. I just kind of want to do it because, you know, Sonic's voice, that's his character. So now we just kind of lost a part of his character, and we'll just have to see, like, where it goes from this point on. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know what to do with all the links that I provide and everything of the sort. Thank you for watching. That's greatly appreciated, of course. Have a great day, have a great night, and everything else, you know what to do.